Today, new developments in the sexual assault allegations against Joe Biden, and CNN tries its best to sweep them under the rug. Also, frontline doctors who administered 5,000 coronavirus tests want the economy to reopen. We've got a lot coming up, and it starts right now. Welcome to the news and why it matters. I'm Sarah Gonzalez, today joined in studio by Chad Prather, host of the Chad Prather Show here on BlazeTV, available on podcast as well. Make sure you subscribe. Hello, Chad.
Good to be with you.
Thank you for being here. We are also joined remotely by the one and only, the man who needs no introduction, Mr. Glenn Beck himself. Hey, hey, Glenn. Peace.
How are you?
Yo. What
Peace.
up? What up, homie?
Peace. Yo. What's happening?
Glenn's been shut up so long he started a gang.
The COVID-19.
I'm actually to the point where I'm starting to like this. I think I'm going to keep a few things of this where, like, I don't have to go to parties. I don't have to go out see people. We don't have to be like, we keep turning them down. We have to go see them. No, I'm quarantined. Sorry. I don't believe the experts. I'm still self-quarantined.
Until there's a vaccine, and then you're going to run out of excuses, I think.
He'll be an anti-vaxxer.
I will come up with something. Yes. That's why you are here, Chad. You're a genius.
Insightful. I hear you.
Well, we've got a lot to cover. Let's get into what's going on with Joe Biden, the latest on the front of Joe Biden. So Tara Reade, who was the prominent person who came out and accused Joe Biden of sexual assault in 1993, there's been this ongoing, I guess you could call it investigation or looking into by alternative media sources. Certainly not the mainstream media who you would expect to look into it. But apparently The Intercept dug up and found what is allegedly a phone call between Tara Reade's mother and Larry King on an episode of Larry King Live, a very old episode of Larry King Live, where Tara Reade's mother actually kind of talks about the fact that her daughter had gone through something with a prominent senator. Let's listen to that, and gentlemen, I want to get your thoughts.
We're back. A couple more phone calls on this very important topic. Our guests are former United States Senator Howard Baker, Richard Allen, former National Security Advisor, and Lois Romano of the Washington Post. San Luis Obispo, California. Hello.
Yes, hello. I'm wondering what a staffer would do besides go to the press in Washington. My daughter has just left there after working for a prominent senator and could not get through with her problems at all. And the only thing she could have done was go to the press, and she chose not to do it out of respect for him.
Or she had a story to tell, but out of respect for the person she worked for, she didn't tell it.
That's true.
Yeah, but these are the people who do come to the Lois Romanos, right? The staff worker who says, I want to let you know about what's going on, either with my boss or the guy down the hall.
And a lot of these people have a sense of obligation. They feel that this public official should be accountable if it's something
They're
wrong.
whistleblowers to the press.
Now, Glenn, so this was after Tara Reade actually told The Intercept that she had heard that her mother had called into Larry King anonymously, and she gave the what seemed like to be an honest account of, I don't know all the details, all I know is that she called in anonymously, and someone else went and dug up this phone call that matches what she said.
The Intercept couldn't find it themselves. I mean, you had to watch every Larry King. She couldn't even remember when it was. Well, it turns out that it was August 11th, 1993, when she made this call from San Luis Obispo, and that's where her mother did live at the time. She has confirmed that that's her mother's voice. She said, I haven't heard my mom's voice in a long time, but that was her. It jives with what she said. She had no evidence of it. Well, now you do, except Google has now removed that episode out of the Larry King library. So if you didn't get it before they scrubbed the internet, you're not going to get it. We have it, thank God, and others have it. But they have now scrubbed this. It does not bode well for Mr. Biden. This alone is more evidence than they had on Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah, and of course they wanted that man, hung by his toenails. Chad, if there was any doubt as to whether or not this phone call was more conclusive than not that it was Tara Reade's mother, the fact that, as Glenn said, CNN scrubbed it kind of doesn't make Joe Biden look innocent. I'm sorry, Google scrubbed it. But the fact that you've got all of these big tech and mainstream media organizations that are trying to cover for him certainly doesn't make him look innocent.
Well, not only does it not bode well for Joe Biden, I expected something like this to come along because I think there had to be an external circumstance, and I'm just kind of conspiracy theory right now. Something has to knock Joe Biden out of the way because there's a bigger agenda at play. You can't convince me that Joe Biden is truly the guy for the DNC. There's just no possible way.
Here's the thing, Chad. I mean, I don't know if you've seen any of the videos that have come from Joe Biden lately, but he is almost to the point of saying, "Who am I? Where am I?"
Yeah.
But he's not even cutting his own videos. I think we have a clip of the latest tweet from Joe Biden and his wife, and in it, he's just standing there thinking to himself, who is this woman and who is she talking about? But watch this video.
And together, we're just getting started. This moment reminds us that the presidency is about true leadership, having the forethought to prepare for the worst,
There are words on a screen.
backbone to lead through chaos,
And she's saying
the character to move beyond
That's
politics
not usual,
and serve
is it?
every American, no matter where they live
Where's my
or
cat?
what they believe.
I
Only
used to have a
one
kitty cat.
candidate in this election
His
has
name was
all
Fluffy.
three. My
I was
husband,
6.
our next president of the United States,
Who's her husband?
Joe Biden.
She makes funny sounds. I mean, that's what's happening.
It is. And
Why is she doing that?
Yeah, she's reading his speech. She's reading the political speech. I tweeted that video this morning, and I said, is she going to debate Trump as well? How far is Jill going to go? I think Jill has been running the man's Twitter account this whole time. Obviously, he's not tweeting anything himself. Somebody else is doing
the Twitter
that for
box. I'm on the Twitter box in my rec room. Rec room in my rest area.
I mean, also, Glenn, you look at what she's actually talking about. She's talking about what the character of a president needs to be and that he needs to have leadership and he needs to have forethought and all of these things. And they can't even trust this man to say these things.
Wear my shoes.
Yeah.
I don't wear my shoes. I don't remember what shoes are, but I remember I should have them. It's really not good, and I don't think this is going to bode well. Something is going to change here before the November election. I'm absolutely positive. The first female president we have actually had already. Mm-hmm. Her name was Ruth Wilson. She was Woodrow Wilson's wife, and he was completely incapacitated. And she'd say, I'll run this by the president, and she would take the documents, and then she would write in her own hand, whatever needed the response would be, and she actually signed things for him. He had a stroke, completely incapacitated. And finally, Congress and his own party, because she was going to run him again. Mm-hmm. And it was the first time that anybody was trying to run. No, it was the third term. First time that somebody was going to run a third term, which was unheard of at the time. And she was insisting on it. And the party actually said, we need to talk to him. Well, she prepared all of the answers for him to give. And he was so well prepared, and she kept it so short that he actually got away with it for a little while. She got away with it for a little while, but it didn't last long. He didn't run again.
Go ahead, John.
Well, I just go back to the Tara Reade thing. This is something that, if it's not pre-planned, it's a gift for the DNC. This is their opportunity. But it's amazing how CNN swept it under the rug, and so many mainstream places has swept this information under the rug to try to, use that double standard, because they didn't treat this like Kavanaugh. They're not, Alyssa Milano still comes out and says, or Trump, and he comes out and says, oh, well, this is different. It's not different. You are either a hashtag Me Too movement feminist, or you're a complete and total hypocrite in this situation. We've never been under the false pretenses that politicians in Washington, D.C. don't sleep around and mess around and do those things.
But you can't say that Donald Trump was horrible when he said grab him by the body part. And he was talking about it, boasting about it, not saying he did it, saying that's what you got to do. And maybe he did it, maybe he didn't. I was disgusted by it and still am. Yeah. But to then have a politician who they were ramrodding all of this stuff down everybody's throat on this is unacceptable, unacceptable. To have him not say that, but actually be accused of doing that. We're talking about digital penetration. That happened, according to Tara Reade. So it's not talking about it. It's much worse.
Yeah, and if you listen,
they don't even report on it.
If you listen to Tara Reade's account of it, and you listen to what we've listened to of Joe Biden, you can almost put it in his voice.
That is, I did say that when I heard her original. Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Come on,
exactly. I know you hear that and you're like, okay, that
but
does
you're right,
Joe,
Glenn.
but if you want to be objective, you need more than that.
You do, of course you do.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But this is something this is the bed they made. They have to lie in it. They have to, or everything you've talked about, believe women, this equality thing, all of that stuff is bunked and gone if you don't stand up to this situation.
Look.
Go ahead.
America has already baked everything into Donald Trump. They know who he is. If he doesn't blow the next 6 months, the people who really are feminist, really are, they're not going to walk across the street to vote for another pig.
Right.
Yeah.
You've already got a pig in Donald Trump, they'll think.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
And
this one's on my side. He's completely senile.
Yeah, I'm seeing that on social media. People coming out saying why, and they'll refer to the two rapists. Why are we going to go vote? We're just not going to vote for anybody. It's just two rapists. Why are we going to do that?
Right.
Which is a ludicrous accusation, but that's what people are saying.
Well, and it will be interesting, Glenn, to see how this plays out because, you mentioned people are not going to go walk over to go vote for this guy. But I wonder if the people who are endorsing him will have any negative repercussions as well. Nancy Pelosi, in spite of all of this new development coming out about a sexual assault accuser for Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi still comes out and endorses Joe.
No.
I think we have a clip, but I'd rather get your take on it. Just to say she's proud to endorse Joe Biden for president. He'll be an extraordinary president, and then she goes on to tout his leadership in overseeing the Obama administration's recovery during the Great Recession. Glenn, what are your thoughts?
A bunch of words that she barely even understands at this point. She's thinking, "Where's my cat? I had a cat named Fluffy."
I don't know why you always have to go for the cat jokes.
You know why.
Well,
you know
why. There is. They're not going to pay for it. I really learned this and gained a lot of respect for Tammy Bruce. In fact, I should put her on a radio show. She was the only one during the Monica Lewinsky thing that broke with the National Organization of Women. She was the Los Angeles chapter head of the National Organization of Women. And when he said, okay, I did have sex with that woman, but it depends on what the definition of is, that's when she said, okay, we're breaking with the Democrats and with Bill Clinton. And she got hammered by everyone in the National Organization of Women, and she was forced to step down. And she has been an outspoken critic of the National Organization of Women ever since. Remember, she was the head of the chapter in Los Angeles. She was the only one that had the guts to do it back then. They will not do it now. They won't. And if he appoints a woman, and a competent woman, but especially a competent woman of color, that may work because they're going to basically have a shadow campaign of, that's the president, guys. We're going to be the first to have a female president because he ain't going to be around long.
Yeah. Chad, your thoughts on this? Final word.
Well, I mean, if you watch that clip with he and Jill, you would think Jill's the vice president choice on that situation.
Yeah.
But I agree 100%. This whole thing, it just smells real fishy.
Yeah. All right, much more to come. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Freedom Project Academy. So usually when we talk about Freedom Project Academy, it's because, parents like you don't want your kids going to school at a place where they're going to be indoctrinated by all of this left-wing propaganda. But now all of us are homeschooling, and it's talked about like it's this really great time where you get to bond with your children, but really you're like, I need someone else to teach my kids because I'm about to wring all of their necks.
By the way, did you hear? Did you hear that they're talking about now that most likely, this is a statement I heard today, most likely we should prepare for in-home schooling next fall?
Yes, I know. No, Glenn, I did see that about Illinois. Your face. And I texted it to my husband and I said, if Governor Abbott says this today, I'm going to jump off a bridge. I'm just going to jump off a bridge. I'm going to hurl myself off the bridge. And that's going to be that. Now's the time to look into Freedom Project Academy. Your children can receive an accredited classical online education. This is built on Judeo-Christian values. They're not going to indoctrinate your children with left-wing propaganda. And it's for kindergarten through 12th grade. So those of you full-time working parents, if you do not want to, or you don't have the bandwidth to homeschool your children, this is your answer. This is your solution. They teach the students how to think, not what to think. You got to go to freedomforschool.com. That is freedomforschool.com. Request a free information packet today. Don't jump off the bridge like I just said. Just go to freedomforschool.com. Get your free information packet today, freedomforschool.com. Back in a minute. All right, shifting on to news on the coronavirus front. There have been several new developments going on over...
Excuse me. I have the biggest development of all time.
Oh.
You may not think this is a big deal, but I'm telling you, this is a huge deal. And if you do not take my advice, you are going to regret it.
Okay.
Not that I'm going to come over to your house and make you regret it. You're just going to regret it.
Okay.
People always talk about New York pizza and Chicago pizza, right?
Yeah.
Oh, New York's pizza is the best, or Chicago pizza is the best. Neither of them. New Haven pizza is real, authentic Italian pizza. It's made in a little like 3-block area called Worcester Street. And it's still run by the mob. I mean, the businesses aren't. They're just protected by the mob. It is still a place where you're like, hey, we don't have any problems around here. You know what I'm saying? Right? Yeah. You could go walking down this street with $100 bills taped to a model naked in the middle of the night. You say, I'll meet you 3 blocks down. She's going to be totally fine. Everybody would say, oh, that's nice, keep moving. Nothing's going to happen here, right? So the mob knows good pizza. There is a place on Worcester Street called Modern Pizza. It is great pizza. I just got this in the mail today.
Oh my gosh.
Vacuum sealed Modern Pizza. Now, I've had people say, I've actually been there when somebody who was just a tourist came by and they were like, yeah, I just wanted to tell you, like, there's some burnt spots on our pizza. And the guy goes, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Well, it's kind of burned around the edges. I said, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Oh, I get it. You're going to send a hitman after me if I say it again. Bingo. It's supposed to be, it's real brick oven fired, and it is so good. You've never had pizza until you've had pizza from Modern.
Wow.
Modern Pizza, look it up. New Haven, Connecticut, Modern Pizza, call them. This, I think, is their meatball. It's delicious.
What the hell are you showing me right now, Glenn?
Seriously.
Is that good? You cut that out of the package?
This is the best thing to come out of COVID. Right. You know, they say that.
It kind of looks like a COVID.
That the camera... They say the camera adds 10 pounds. With me, the camera has added 5 pounds. I've, with COVID, added 20.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, well,
gotta have that.
Thanks. The pregnant woman says thanks for
What's it
telling me I
called
need to
again?
get more pizza. That's
I'm
the
telling you,
because now I'm craving
modern
it.
pizza,
Modern
pizza.
New
Modern
Haven,
pizza.
Connecticut.
That's pretty modern.
Yeah, that is
Tell them,
really awesome.
Glenn Beck sent you, and they'll say, "Why the hell do I care?" Huh?
I didn't hear you.
In other coronavirus news, not as great as the pizza that Glenn just showed. There was apparently confirmation, fact-checking confirmation, that hospitals and doctors are getting paid more, at least for Medicare patients diagnosed with COVID-19, or not just like actual test results coming back, but just if it's presumed they've contracted the virus, even if they have not gotten that lab test results. Now, there has been a back and forth about this. I know Candace Owens reported this a couple weeks ago. It was not received well by a lot of different outlets. And just recently, Pennsylvania was forced to remove hundreds from their COVID-19 death count over a bunch of irregularities. I'm not trying to like push any sort of conspiracy theory, but when you're talking about shutting down the economy, you're talking about shutting down the entire global economy, essentially. I feel like accuracy with numbers is important, and it's important to reflect exactly what are COVID-19 deaths and what are not, and giving a hospital incentives to list something as COVID-19, probably not a great idea.
Yeah, no, I mean, what money? I mean, corruption? Money? No, of course not. Lying about it?
Financial incentive to pad the numbers.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly. That's the whole thing. But I mean, why do you bring that up, Sarah? You just want people to die? That's it. You just want people to die.
Apparently.
See, that's the thing. The numbers don't lie. The statistics, when you start looking at them, models are based on a presupposition. We don't know we didn't have a presupposition. We didn't have a model to base a model off of on all this thing. So we're seeing that numbers are coming in a lot lower than what the prognostication was. We had Dr. Michael Wilcott on the show tonight, on the Chad Prather show, and he was talking about, you're talking about, they were estimating millions were going to die from this thing. And now you add money in to pad the numbers. Of course you're going to have corruption. You're going to have false predictions and numbers and these things and reports that come in.
Yeah. Glenn?
So the website that every state and the federal government used to base their moves on is something called COVID Act Now, I believe is the website. Right. And that was started by a couple of guys who are Democratic operatives that spend their day trying to flip states blue. Mm-hmm. That's what they do. And this is the people, these two are the ones that gave America the stats. They were the ones that everyone looked at. They had really, really high numbers of death. And we have videotape of these governors, making the decision, and they're saying, look, here are the stats. It's all from that website. That website was started to track coronavirus, but it was started by the same two guys who spend all the rest of their time trying to flip states blue. Why was that the website that was pushed for everybody? Why?
Well, it looks like I'm not the only conspiracy theorist over here. I'm just saying. In addition to all of that that's come out, there's a new viral video that is has surfaced on the internet that is showing these frontline doctors in California who have administered 5,000 coronavirus tests. And they say that COVID-19 is similar to the flu. I know if you're an average person and you say that, you get lots of pushback. How dare you say it's similar to the flu? You're not allowed to say that. It's certainly not similar to the flu. Obviously, the models show that it's way worse. Well, now you've got frontline doctors saying that it is similar to the flu and that we should reopen the economy. Here's a little bit of what these doctors had to say. Watch.
It was needed initially. They actually, we both agree with exactly what they did initially because we didn't know. It was an unknown. Now it is becoming known. Initially, when you don't know something, you're extra careful because you're fearful. It's just like when you see a patient and they're very sick, you test for everything because you're scared. You're fearful. But then as you see more of those patients, you realize, hey, I know what to test for, right? It's shotgun effect versus sniper effect, right? So initially when this data came out of a new virus that's lethal, they went all out. And I think that was appropriate. But now that we have the data, we're seeing that 97% of patients completely recover. And those 4 patients that die, they have over 90% comorbidities. Let's run through that one more time. Out of 100 people, if 96 do fine, the 4 that die, 90% of those 4 have comorbidities. Heart failure, emphysema, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus. They're on immunomodulating medications. They're immunodeficient, HIV. These are the people that are dying. You get some healthy people that die, but that's an infinitesimal number. Tiny.
And yet, Glenn, there was a picture in this mom's group that I had where they took a picture inside of Torchy's Tacos, and they were furious because there were like 20 people there, and they were not socially distancing, and they're going to cause all of us to die. Glenn, all of us are going to die because people are not socially distancing. These doctors present a much different picture.
Yeah, they're not the only ones. You have emergency room doctors now who are saying you've got to open the economy back up. More people will die because of what's happened to the economy than COVID. I agree with their assessment that nobody knew what it was, and it was better to be safe than sorry, I think. But now we do know, and we should be opening up our economy, not just because it is more like the flu, but because it's insane to keep us closed down. So, the other thing, I would have gone deeper on this, but I couldn't get over how much he looked like he had a fake Elvis haircut.
Yeah, Frankie Valli.
It looked like...
Probably sells that pizza.
He had the bouffant haircut and the sideburns, and I was like, and peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Secure.
Sonny Red, go get us a jelly donut and a cheeseburger.
Chad, what are your thoughts? Not on the haircut, but on the other side.
Here's what we know. We know that coronavirus is real. We know that it is highly infectious, and we know that the mortality rate on it is extremely low. Okay? That's what these guys are saying. So when you have people who are losing their minds saying, oh, this is epidemic, it's going to kill us all, this is the bubonic plague, how dare you even belittle this? These numbers don't lie. The comorbidity, the underlying factors, they're there. If you have high blood pressure, that's a major thing. If you have obesity, if you have heart failure of any sort, and you have diabetes and emphysema, the COPD, all of these things are factors, and you can't deny the numbers. It's there. It is virtually non-existent in people under 18 years of age. When you get up into the 40s, it starts to show up, and then you get into the elderly, it's there. We're living in a time in history that for the first time, and we've heard this, we're quarantining the healthy. Mm-hmm. And everybody's sitting there worrying. And that's, normally you quarantine the sick.
Yeah.
You got to open it back up. My wife, who's a nurse practitioner, she's been furloughed. She's furloughed. She will not go back to work, probably most likely, unless they redeploy her somewhere. I doubt they will, until June, most likely. You have folks across the board. Medical professionals, they're starting to hurt for their own jobs. Mm-hmm. So if we were truly in that situation, we wouldn't have that situation going on.
Yeah, and not just that, but I was reading an article that there are like thousands of people who are not being diagnosed, statistically speaking, are not being diagnosed with things like cancer right now because there are no preventive visits taking place. So you got to add those into the numbers when you're talking about number of lives lost. But yeah, real quick, Glenn.
I have a friend who has cancer in his kidneys. Needs to have them out. They were supposed to be out last month. If they spread, it's a death sentence to him. Yeah. And they're saying maybe we can get you in June. Well, June might be too late for him.
Yeah.
And that's the Mayo Clinic.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You got cancer. A lot of people are going to die.
Right. COVID shaming.
COVID shaming, because if you say anything contrary to the fact that this is going to kill us all, then you must hate people.
Even when you're talking about the fact that like leaving everything closed is going to kill people. It's mind-boggling. All right, back in a minute. We got to take a break. Drives me nuts. Chad mentioned COVID shaming before the break. Take a look at this. This is a high school math teacher in New Jersey who is doing exactly what Chad just said people are being reduced to, really showing their true colors. Here's this teacher so furious that there are kids that are actually, they have the audacity to play football in the park. Here's how she reacted.
Am I screaming loud enough that you can hear me over your music? Park closed. You'll get arrested if the cops come.
Wait, can we go over there?
Is that crazy enough for you?
Can we go over there?
Park closed. The whole area. Get it through your thick head. You are the reason we are in this situation. You are the problem, not the solution. Go ahead, keep recording. Who are you going to show it to? Post me on social media.
The world.
You're the idiot doing the wrong thing. I'm just trying to save your ass and save your life. But die, okay? I hope both of you get the coronavirus. I hope you both die a long, painful death.
Cool.
Boy,
totally reasonable.
That went,
I was with her.
That went really
time.
quickly, Glenn, from I'm just trying to save your life to I hope you die a long, painful death.
I hope you die. Look, this is a real problem. You know, first of all, you know who she is? If you've watched Ozark, she's Wendy Bird's brother, who was the teacher who just went crazy and threw that guy in the wood chipper or whatever he threw with all the phones in the wood chipper. That's Wendy Bird's brother from Ozark. She's insane. If she's a teacher, she's insane. You'll notice there's not a lot of people around. It's not that you can't do anything. In fact, if you're doing things like throwing a football to each other, I'm guessing you're not 2 feet away and you're outside. You're fine, lady. Relax.
Chad.
She's spitting a lot of stuff out there with their mouth open that much. You got to be thinking she's spreading germs. She makes a terrible hall monitor, and that's what we've gotten these days. We've got these neighborhood hall monitors, is what I'm calling them, who are just going around policing everybody. I mean, give her a brown shirt, she'd fit right in, Nazi Germany. It's absolutely insane what these people are doing. They're losing their minds. They say, I'm trying to save your life, and I hope you die a very slow, painful death. I mean, that's the logic of this thing. It's completely illogical.
Well, I mean, I wonder, it feels like a lot like people have gotten to the point where they just don't want you to look like you're having fun during this time because they're having a hard time, and seeing these kids playing football and having fun is not allowed. And that's why they're calling
Bewitched,
on parks
right?
and everything like that.
She's a modern day Miss Kravitz who's got her blinds bent and she's watching to see what the neighbors are doing to make sure that, because these people have this weird sense of self-righteousness and think that they're perfect in everything they're doing. But for every precaution that you're supposedly taking, I can point out 10 that you're probably not. If we're really going to get down to the brass tacks of it and start checking off lists here, we're all lacking in that regard. Nobody's germ free.
So I would say she's acting like a cat person, although she's walking a dog. But
Here we go.
Of course, wouldn't it be a giant poodle?
Yeah.
I mean that's the next. That's the cat of dogs.
You do. You have to even feel sorry for the dog. The dog was looking around like, someone please get me out of here.
Like, please, you don't know. She's like this all the time. She just did this to her boyfriend. She's just done this to 3 other people on the way here. I'm just trying to take a crap. Please, someone shut her up.
Please let me get over to the grass.
I mean, I do think it is a really good indication of what fear will drive people to do, Glenn. I know that you talk about that a lot, that, fear is a great motivator when it comes to all of the messaging that we've been hearing with this coronavirus.
I don't think that's fear.
You don't think she's driven by fear?
No, I think
control.
I think there are those people that are just, as Chad just said, hall monitors.
Yeah.
They've always been I'm going to do it exactly right, and you are never good enough, and that's not what they say. I don't believe really in freedom unless you do it my way. It's the right way. I don't think that's fear. I think that's just somebody who just believes they know it all.
Yeah. Chad, I saw, before we go, I saw people who, you're talking about COVID shaming, people who were shaming others for going out to the beaches, for going outside over the weekend. And it just kind of blew my mind because we had just heard in this press conference that sunlight is horrible for the coronavirus. Heat and humidity, both horrible for the coronavirus, kills it quicker than anything else, sunlight. Yeah. Yet you have people who were going around so upset that you would dare go to the beach and get some sun with your family.
Yeah,
and if you look at the pictures, mostly people are socially distanced. They're with their families. They're far enough apart from other people. They're not all congregating in a crowd.
And here in North Texas, it's a nice warm day. I ran across to the store across the street there just earlier today, and I had a lady who was wearing a mask, and she kind of lost it on me, but it was right after I licked her face. And I just wanted to prove a point. I think she's probably still alive.
There was somebody in the supermarket who saw a woman in the supermarket here in Dallas that was wearing a stormtrooper helmet. Okay, that was her mask.
Oh, that's amazing.
And she was, and I'm not kidding, she was bumping into stuff, and she then finally put it up over her eyes, and she's like, I don't know how these people could ever see in these things. They're just so crazy. The lenses are so dark. And she walked around with a stormtrooper helmet on her head. She actually thought that would help. She was being serious with the stormtrooper helmet.
Wow, that's incredible. Also,
Let
the people.
God sort them out.
You're right. Also, the people. Well, on the way here to the studio, the main road that we turn off of to get into the parking lot. Someone by himself, all by his lonesome, walking, exercising, mask on. I'm like,
I told you guys. I told you last week on an episode. I saw somebody eating popcorn with a rubber glove on their hand. I mean, it's just asinine at this point.
We're gonna find out in hindsight. We have spread it more because of all these stupid PPE protections that people have put in place that they don't know how to use right.
Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies. I mean, that's was about the Black Plague.
Yeah.
We were wrong on that.
Yeah, great point. All right, we gotta go back in a minute.
You mean doctors were wrong when they were wearing that bird mask?
Mixed messaging back and forth recently over the weekend. Is Kim Jong Un dead? Is he not? A lot of back and forth. South Korea says, no, he's not dead. He's not dead. You've got it all wrong. And North Korea is now saying, he's not dead. All right. Here, he wrote a thank you note to someone recently, and here it is. And this obviously serves as proof he's not dead. He's definitely not dead, Glenn.
Let me tell you something. That's absolutely true. My mother died in 1979. I have not gotten a birthday card or anything from her ever since. So maybe they're onto something. Dead people don't write thank you cards.
I wonder if the handwriting was in Ruth Wilson. Her handwriting.
No, he's got his sister to do that for him.
Yeah.
I mean, really, there has been so much back and forth. We heard he was in an incapacitated state. He was left brain dead after a surgery. Chad, what do you think is going on?
Well, obviously the Kims can't admit to their mortality. So if he's dead, they have to do a lot of interior PR stuff that's going to have to be communicated to the people. I tend to lean towards he's dead, but it's a guess at this point because who knows? I think his sister's been running the show for a long time because this guy's a moron. I mean, he really is. He's not a smart guy. We actually have a special. We're going to talk about North Korea and the Kim family on Wednesday nights. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Wednesday night's episode of the Chad Prather Show. We're going to dive deep into this. I won't say it because Glenn's on here, but it's an interesting family.
Glenn, what do you think? Is he dead? What's going on?
I just think this is a statement on communism. This is what communist countries look like. They never tell you the truth. I mean, I grew up in the Cold War, and I remember, what was it, Brezhnev, and there were like four of them, one right after another until you hit Gorbachev, and they died so closely together that, you know, every time you heard, oh, he's got a cold, you're like, he's dead.
Yeah.
Because that's what they would do. They would hide their death for a long time and say, he's got a cold. Well, he's taking a turn for the worst.
Yeah.
Oop, he's dead. And they would deny that he's completely healthy. He's right now training for the Olympics. You knew he was dead. Then they would come out and go, no, he's got a little cold. No, he's dead.
I mean,
dead. That's what communism does.
I feel like if you were going to go through the trouble of providing proof and he were in fact alive, you would use a little bit more conclusive proof than a thank you note.
Yeah.
You might just have a video.
I mean, I could prop him up like Weekend at Bernie's. I mean, we'd make him look alive if that's what we wanted to do. But there's something real fishy about the whole deal. I mean, the guy has bowled 300 like 10 times, right? And that's one. That's one of their.
No,
things.
He's played 18 holes of golf and gotten 18 hole-in-ones.
18 hole-in-ones
on the first day he played the game.
Yeah,
first day.
That's true.
Well, I do find it interesting all of the blue check marks who are just talking about how, well, if he is in fact dead and his sister does come into power, look at North Korea. They are far ahead of America in electing a female leader.
Electing. I love that. You know what? Yeah. Go over and try to vote in North Korea. See how far it gets you.
Yeah,
it's amazing to me how many people think the rest of the world is like America or first world. We have no concept of comparison there.
Yeah, which is why everyone thinks that they're oppressed about literally everything, and they're not oppressed. All right, more to come. Back in a minute.
I am so oppressed. I am. I went to the doctor and he gave me oppression medicine.
All right, Friday's poll. How much longer are you willing to stay quarantined for? I'm with you guys. All right, I'm with the majority of you. 45% of you said a day. And then 30% of you said a week. 18% said a month. Again, 8% 3 months plus. What is wrong with you guys? Are you hermits? Are you scared of the world? You're just really introverted, I guess. I don't know. Glenn, I guess you are one of the 7.8%, the 8% who just wants to stay quarantined forever because you said at the beginning of the show you're good with it now.
Yeah, I just, in an excuse sort of way. I don't want to, I want to be able to go out when I want and everybody else can go out and do whatever they want. I just want to be able to say, no, I'm not doing that on Friday. I can't. We're quarantined, honey.
So
can't. Going to have to watch a movie at home or something.
Quarantine-ish. Because if you put the ish on there, you can get away with some wiggle room.
Yeah.
All right. Today's poll. If Joe Biden wins in 2020, who will really be running the show in the White House? Jill Biden, big banks, his VP, or Corn Pop? Come on.
Yeah.
We all know it's Corn Pop. Just kidding. What do you think?
Well, who knows? I mean, the handlers.
I
somebody
think big labor in big banks.
Yeah, it won't be Joe. We can joke about it being Jill, but I'm saying the banks and those. It'll be handled.
I mean, it just makes you think, though, if Joe Biden still stays the actual candidate for this race. I think, Glenn, you mentioned this earlier in the show. There's no way the Democrat voters don't vote for president. They're voting for VP. Right, like they're voting with the idea that the VP will become president, or else they're just not paying attention.
Well, that's the only thing that got me to vote for John McCain. Unfortunately, was the VP. I was like, all right, well, she seems like she's okay, but that didn't work out well. But I think this is, you have to honestly look and listen to him and. When in your heart of hearts you realize he's not all there. He has always been gaffe prone, but this is different. He doesn't know where he is. You have to base, if you vote for him, you have to base it on the VP.
Yeah.
And then hope everything goes well.
Yeah. All right, let us know what you think. You can go to the Blaze's Twitter. That is, of course, at The Blaze. Also, if you have not yet picked up a copy of Glenn's new book, Arguing with Socialists, you have got to do it. Now's the time. You got all this time on your hands to sit on the couch and read the book after you're done watching all of these awesome shows on BlazeTV.com. You can get it at glennbeck.com. You can get it at Amazon, wherever you get your books. Arguing with Socialists. It is amazing. You've got to go get it right now.